First of all, I will talk about what is design up close. So this Museum Macan and BWI present Design Up Close, a new program series dedicated to practice and theory of design, creating links between global designers and local design issues. The program consists of a regular keynote lecture paired with a mentoring and open review program. Our mentoring and open review program with Fauzy Prasetya Kamal was hosted in April, and Mas Fauzi will be our moderator for today. So this program is supported by Institut Teknologi Bandung, Himpunan Desainer Interior Indonesia, Aliansi Desainer Produk Industri Indonesia, and Bandung Creative City Forum. This program is also powered by Cisco. So I'd like to invite Aaron, our Museum Macan Director, to give an opening remarks.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the keynote presentation as part of our Design Up Close program. I'd like to acknowledge our partner for this program, which is BWI. Hi there, Charles. It's really great to see you here again today. And also a big welcome and a big thank you to Pablo Amorós Munoz from Actiu, who is our keynote presenter today, as well as to acknowledge ITB, the Dean of Arts and Design faculty, Dr. Andryanto Rikrik Kusmara. Welcome to you.
Thank you.
And thank you also to ITB for being our partner on this program, as well as Bandung Creative City Forum, to the Indonesian Society of Interior Designers, the Indonesia Product Designers Alliance, and also a big thank you to Fauzy Prasetya, who is our moderator for today.
Thank you.
I know that many of you have seen and have been part of our Design Up Close program. It's a new program which we have implemented with BWI to help raise the awareness and also help raise the discussion of design in Indonesia. It's a program which the museum is very proud of, and it's one of the first programs which we have been able to deliver in this virtual context. Thank you. Thanks to our sponsor, Cisco. And with that, I hope we have a really great afternoon and a really great discussion to follow the keynote. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Now I'd like to invite Pak Charles Sutanto, Director of BWI, to give an opening remarks.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Charles here. I think same like Aaron. I think you know, this program is this is the first keynote that we're going to deliver. I think it's great that we have ITB on board as a partner, and HDI, ADPI. I would like to thank you, Pablo and Fauzy, to actually, you know, deliver the content today. Like Aaron said, I think the vision for this program is to actually, you know, create a discussion amongst the design industry players, whether you're a student, everybody can contribute, and hopefully that we can come up with an outcome that is positive for the industry as a whole. So I hope you guys enjoy the program today, and hopefully this is beneficial for everyone, and then have a enjoyable time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Charles. Now I'd like to invite the Dean of Art and Design Faculty in Institut Teknologi Bandung, Pak Rikrik Kusmara. Silakan, Pak Rikrik.
Okay, terima kasih. Thank you, Rencana. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here with you all. And my name is Rikrik Kusmara, Dean of the Faculty of Art and Design ITB. So actually, it's my 4th week on this position. So definitely, as my duty, I was looking for as many as possible cooperation on behalf of my students and our academic goals. Yeah. And so we also were thankful to our institution and friends, and thanks to everyone who makes this cooperation happen. Yeah. And on behalf of the Faculty of Art and Design ITB, first and foremost, I would like to thank the Director of Macan, Mr. Aaron Seto, and then Pak Charles Susanto from BWI, and Bu Aprina, yeah, and then Mbak Tita from BCCF for our cooperation in this webinar series of Design Up Close, and also Design Association in Indonesia, Indonesian Product Design Association, and then Interior Design Association, Bandung Creative City Forum, which make this event also accessible for our staffs and also for our students, and in general for public. And as a co-host for this webinar, again, I welcome also to Mr. Pablo Amorós Munoz from Actiu, Pak Fauzy juga ya. Terima kasih. Thank you for your time for this webinar and all of audience who attend this presentation. So thanks again. Hopefully soon in the future we can join again in the webinar series. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Pak Rikrik. Now I would like to introduce our moderator for today, Mas Fauzy. Mas Fauzy Prasetya Kamal is our mentor for the mentoring and open review for wellness. So Mas Fauzy graduated from Institut Teknologi Bandung, majoring in product design. He continued his study at Central St. Martin's, London, the United Kingdom, graduated with a Master of Design in Ceramics. After graduation, Fauzy returned to Bandung and co-founded Kandura Studio. Mas Fauzy has engaged in a number of design initiatives across Java and Lombok, prompting Monocle magazine to highlight him as one of the key players in its local talent Bandung section in issue 65, July-August 2013. Now I'd like to invite Mas Fauzy to give the opening remarks.
Okay, thank you, Widi. Thank you, Aaron, Charles, and Pak Rikrik for the introduction to Museum Macan, BWI, and ITB, and also partnering design associations and communities, BCCF, HDII, and ADPII. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here today. Today we are all here to listen and hopefully discuss about the wellness aspect in design, specifically in relation to furniture and space. More recently, although we realize it or not, this subject of wellness has indeed become increasingly relevant, especially with the current pandemic conditions, which has dramatically changed the way we live and work. In one way or another, most of us have in the past few months experienced working from home. We have brought our work and to the dining table, to the bedroom, or have made a makeshift working space at home, looking for the quietest place for when we virtually meet, just like today. And now, as some offices and public spaces are reopening, we all have come to find that working from the office and the manners and ritual of being in public space have somewhat changed. Masks need to be worn, distances needs to be kept, and hands needs to be frequently washed. Which leads us to the question, how do we define wellness in design? And more importantly, how do we achieve it? Today's session of Design Up Close will be presented by Pablo Amorós. He is the head of corporate wellness and strategic projects at Actiu, a furniture and design company based in Spain. It is where he led the transformation for Actiu in the area of wellness and has become an advocate for wellness for Actiu's partners and customers. Actiu as a company has recently achieved a WELL Platinum certification for its technology park headquarters complex, being the second organization in Europe to receive the recognition. He himself is a well-accredited professional by the International Well Building Institute and is actively participating and promoting well-being and climate change initiatives worldwide. Okay, let's welcome Pablo. Hello, Pablo. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Hello, hi.
How are you today?
Very good. Very excited to be participating here in this session, this design up closing.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here today with us. We are all excited to hear about your talk today, which we will then follow up with a round of questions and answers. Okay, so I will give the platform to you, Pablo, for your introduction and keynote presentation. So please do, Pablo. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. So first of all, thank you, all of you, all of the participants and organizers for inviting me to be here and to be here talking about the wellness and how the space can be a promoter of change. I think it's gonna be very interesting because I have a very good feeling from last time when we were doing the mentoring with the students and all the attendees, and I hope you guys and all the attendees today are gonna be writing down a lot of questions and yeah, throwing them afterwards, because we're gonna be talking about our study case. We're going to be talking about the why and how and the what of the wellness and how important is that to promote in the space. But at the end, it would be fine to have a discussion about it and put into context and put in common the difference, let's say, difference between European point of view and more Indonesia or Asia point of view, and the difference between that in the culture context. And yeah, let's go for it. I think somebody's gonna be trying to help me so with the presentation, because I cannot share it right now, and I think we just kind of start. So to put into context, and let's say what in the organization that I'm working now, Actiu is a furniture and design company in Spain, in Alicante, in southeast of Spain. Is older than 52 years, so a lot of experience. We have a knowledge already. We started to work with the more home office, you know, with different furniture that we do today, and kind of more like a home base. And in 2000, in the 90s, we create a brand. In the 2000s, we start to work in larger projects, corporative projects, and we develop a series of values and differentiation in the market that was taking into consideration the design, the industrial manufacturing potential and power, and always thinking from the point of view of putting the people in the middle. Okay, so that's very important. And we achieved the 50 years 2 years ago, and we have like a big celebration, and we were in this point of change where let's say we wanted to change our space, our own building that I'm gonna be talking about it too, and we developed a new like philosophy or methodology which is called co-working, which we will be talking about it. And yeah, if we go to the next, we'll see the headquarters on the next slide. We'll see that's our values that we still have. Okay, so we still have our fundamental and basic values as we had at the very beginning of the when the company was born. So well-being was always in the middle, but sustainability was always very, 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 very important for us. So because not only in the product, not only in the materials, which is important, but also in the how the company does the processes, different industrial processes, different recruitment, innovation and design. So that's very important to have it. And on the next slide, we'll see the headquarters and the evolution of it. So this headquarters, this technology park was inaugurated in 2008. The project was older. The project was from the beginning of 2000, and there was a big change for the company there, because everything that we were talking about, everything that we were like trying to express into our products, we could express it more so wider with a building, with architecture. So that was the differentiation. That was a big change in the way that we were working, because we were working in a more typical like office and factory, and this was completely different, all open space. some meeting rooms, so different things. But if you see the pictures there is a lot of green, there is a lot of light, there is a lot of beauty in the same forms of the architecture. So that was a big point, a big change for the company. And yeah, let's go to the next one. You see there the whole technology park with the 3 manufacturing plants and the logistic and the office building, which is there in the middle where Actiu is on the roof. And you see there is only 1/3 of the whole area built. So we have these 4 or 5 big buildings, but actually we have 2/3 of green areas where we can go relax, where we can go to have a nap, where we can go to get some sun, which we have a lot. And that's important too, because that gives a space to the nature, but also space to the people living there. Go to the next. It's important to tell how was the evolution of it. Okay, so let's say I say healthy architecture, but it's important to put into context. In 2008, we finished the park, and in 2010, the company, some people realized that there was so good build that there were awards that the building could be achieving. Okay, and that was the LEED certificate. Is a certification that is given to buildings that they are very sustainable from the point of view of the impact to the nature, to the environment. So in 2010 we started the process of getting LEED, and it's important to remark that we did it after the building was built, because usually what the people or what the architects and designers do is when they are drawing the design project, they are already thinking about it, but we didn't think about this. And even that we still got it, and we still got it in a gold level, which was very high. Okay, that was that time. During that time, we evolved from our business model to be more not so product centric, but more customer centered, thinking more about the well-being and how our equipment and the furniture we design can be impacting on the users. And at the end, we were thinking about from a different point of view. Before, like 10-15 years ago, we were always thinking about the continent, about the architecture, about the energy efficiency of the building, about the impact with the environment. But now, and since 2-3 years ago, we were more thinking about the interior, about the content. So content and no continent is the king, as well as they say in digital marketing. Is content what is important here? So thinking about the people, because the people are the ones inside this continent, which is the building, which is the constructed space. And how is this interaction with the space? That's what is important. That's what we have to think about when we are like designing a space, designing a chair, a table, designing a new color for a wall or for a roof or a new pavement. We need to think about that. How is the user going to be interacting with it, and how is the future user, feeling good with it and having some connection. And then is when we started with a new philosophy, which is going to be on the next slide. This slide is talking about co-working. If we can go to the next one. What is co-working? Co-working was a vision we had of the working environments, of the workplaces, but also of the public spaces and commercial spaces, which is trying to join people, processes, and spaces of different organizations. Okay, we start to look for how the people communicate, how the people moves, how the people consume, how they work, and also how they eat, how they live at the end in these spaces, and how they interact. Okay, important also how they learn and how they balance their work life. And we realize that the space can be a very good promoter of changing people and processes into an organization. And we had to focus on 2 points: the cool, which will be the well-being and how happy is these people in when they are in this space and when they are working, for example, for their company, for their firm. And the working part. The working part is talking more about the productivity and the efficiency that the people has for the organization. That's important also for the owner, because they want to have balance between those of them. And we figure that the spaces can be a trigger for both changing people and processes into the company. And we were focusing more on this. We were deeper, and we realized that the well-being is a power that we can control from the space. We can form it, and once we form it in the way we need, in the way we think is better for the company, and that depends also the location. Where is this company located? Is not the same a company in Shanghai, for example, that in Berlin, that in New York, because these people have different are sensible from and are sensitive for different typologies of wellness, let's say. Okay, and if we see on the next slide, this wellness always is gonna be, they're gonna have some benefit. Okay, here is the why is so important talking about wellness into an organization. There are, for me, 3 main benefits. Okay, but first we have to think. We spend more than 90% of our time indoors. I mean, not only in the company, not only in I don't know, in our home, but also restaurants, shopping, libraries, anything you can imagine, any constructed, any built space, that's gonna be indoors. And we need to have that very good resolve from the point of view of the well-being. So it has to be a quality of this environment. So if we think about that, we realize how important is it. And I saw 3 main benefits for any organization that wants to design, and that applies also to the designers and the architectures. Okay, to design from this point of view. That's gonna be the well-being itself, the first one. When I design thinking about how satisfied and how happy the main and the future user is gonna be with this space, I'm creating well-being for them. Because, for example, in a company, that could be also the emotional salary we're talking always. Not only money, but also how happy I'm feeling with my office, with my environment, with the space when I'm working at. It has to be flexible. It has to be spaces for physical activity that we will see after. So people have to love that. Okay, people have to be very engaged with their spaces. Then, in the second point, the second part, we have company or organization image. That's important too, because it could be like a hook, for example, for a company that is trying to attract and retain more talent, more people, talented people, and that can be a hook to get it. So I'm offering you good conditions to work, not only from the point of view of economics, but also from the point of view of the space and how comfortable are you gonna feel in here. And on the third part, there is more thinking from the point of view of the owner of the company, the real estate, the building itself, is gonna be increasing the value, because any building with this kind of certificate or with this kind of design is gonna have a higher value in the market, in case in the future you want to rent a part or hold, or you want to sell it, or you want to change it. So it's gonna be always better to have this kind of certificate. So at the end, you're gonna have a higher value asset. So, and if we check this graphic, there is not a study, a research from us, but an international one. We see the productivity impact, productivity in the working environment, the impact of the operational expenses of a company, of the OPEX, okay? So this 1 and 9% are gonna be the rental operations and the energy of the building itself. And we compare it against the salary and benefits and everything related to employees. It's important to see the difference. So it's 90%. I mean, the main expenses of a company is going to be the people, and that's important that we invest there. We try to maximize that in a good way, and that's going to be making people for the company more profitable, and also they're going to be more satisfied. So the impact on that is going to be always higher. If we go to the next slide, we'll see a research from ourselves that we did like 1.5 years ago, together with the Institution of Biomechanics of Valencia here in Spain. They are very specialized in automobile industry, in ergonomics, in social interaction, in psychology, different things. And we were studying in different companies, in different spaces and organizations, how the space and how the well-being can increase in when you have a good space, when you have a well space. We see here some numbers. They're probably not very big, but if we think about, for example, with the first one, the impact on the work environment in the employee satisfaction is going to be up to 24%. Well, 24% maybe not a lot, but if we are thinking about for the 100%, that's 1/4. And the other 3/4 are going to be probably salary, probably teammates, and I don't know what else would be. So bosses, for example, managers. I mean, 24% is pretty a lot when you're talking only about the space. And then, of course, the team and the individual performance of the employees are going to be increasing also. And the impact of the space is kind of like 11 and 5%. So there is an importance here to focus on it. And it's very easy because you have the numbers here of the research, you have the results, and you have the data, and you only have to invest on it. And if you invest, the return is gonna be pretty good. Let's talk about the well certificate now, okay? Which is gonna be on the next slide. Because we were seeing the why, and the why were the numbers before we were seeing that we spend 90% of our time indoors. How important is the space on the employee satisfaction? What are the main benefits? Those are reasons enough to be investing in a good space. For example, like the one in the picture that's in our headquarters, where you can have the people really motivated with that, because they're happy with what they're doing. That's very important also, that the tasks they're doing are important, but also with the space, and they can connect and they can communicate very easily. That's very important. What is a tool that we have here? Because we were talking about the co-working, which is a methodology at the end that we will talk larger or more after. But we have more tools. for example, an international tool could be this well-building standard, okay? What is the well-building standard? It's a certification. So you have here the definition, which analyzes the variables that affect the physical and psychological well-being of the people who are in the space and wants to promote healthy habits. It's important here. You have the part more technical, more like quality of the environment of the space, like air, water, different things. And then you have the part of promotion, which these standards focus a lot of it, okay? So promoting healthy habits, that's very important on the different users. This certificate is divided into 10 concepts, which are air, water, nourishment, light, movement, thermal comfort, sound, materials, mind, and community. And we're gonna be seeing each of them afterwards. Okay, so we're gonna be seeing what are they trying to look for, so to improve the environment, to improve the space and have a more well environment, and which things we did in Active to achieve it. Okay, so that's the 10 concepts. And if you want to play a video, we have in this where on the top of the slide there is this play. Maybe you can play. It's a very short video about how the well can improve in a company. You see the icon there? I don't know if some the guy. No, the guy who is on the slide before. There, where well version 2 on the title. There, click it. Yeah. If it's working, it's all right. If not, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We can continue.
The video didn't appear, because it appears here.
I don't see anything.
Okay, wait a minute.
It's in YouTube.
Yes, it's on YouTube. It appears on my note.
Yeah. I don't think we hear anything. In the meantime, I can explain you something more about the well certificate. Just tell me when the video is going to be playing. And the structure of it, I already told you. These are the 10 concepts. Every concept has different credits. And let's say per concept, we have like 10 to, I don't know, 20, 30 credits. 20-25% of each credit are gonna be preconditions, which that means they're gonna have to be achieved, mandatory, and the other 75% of the credits are gonna be optimizations. That means they are not mandatory. You have to achieve at least per concept 2 optimizations, but they're not mandatory, and what they give you is more score, a higher score to achieve a higher level. Okay, the levels we have similar to LEED. If some of you know the LEED standard, well, is similar. So we have silver up to 60 points, then we have gold up to 80 points, and then we have platinum 81 to 100 points, which is the maximum. Okay, those are the 3 levels. Minimum you have to achieve silver, so you are always going to be achieving silver in case you achieve the certificate. Difference between LEED and WELL. So as I said before, LEED certificate is more focused on how the building, and it's important to remark that both of them are architecture certifications. Okay, they're given to a building, not to a company, not to a people, not to a group of people, but to the building itself. So LEED is more thinking about how the building is impacting on the environment from the point of view of efficiency and the outdoor and exterior, and WELL certification or WELL standard is focusing more on how this building, how this space indoors is promoting the well-being and how it's impacting on the people. So those are the differences. They are kind of complementary. They are independent institutions, independent certificates, but they are kind of like complementary. Between 20-25% of the credits could be very matched. So could be matched and could be the same. Important to say, as same like with LEED, the well has to be renewed every 5 years. Okay, so it's not forever. You achieve it and then you have to be following up year after year, and on the 3rd year you have to start the recertification. That's important. And how can an organization try to achieve this? It's very easy. I mean, the same company or the same organization can do it by itself, but you can be having some support from a 3rd company, like a consultancy firm or something like that, but you can do it also by yourself. Okay, you have to register online, you pay the fees, which, for example, for 5,000 square meters gonna be around, I think that was like $3,000 or $4,000. I think, I don't remember well. I don't have the example right now, but we are in version 2. WELL certificate was launched in 2015, version 1, and version 2 was changed in 2018. The fees right now are lower, which is good for any company which wants to do it. So you register, you get into the process, you start to check all the documentation they have to verify afterwards. You send all the documents, they verify it, they give you the okay, and what they do, and that's the difference with others certificates internationally, that with this one, with this standard, they do like a performance verification in situ, in the place. So some people is gonna be coming here, 2 to 3 people, and they're gonna be checking everything you have to say in the documents, but also they're gonna be testing things that we will see now in the concepts. Okay, so some people is gonna have to come to the building. Important to remark, this standard applies to all the sectors. So commercial, like offices, companies, public, buildings, administration, hospitality, hotel, restaurant, also public, like kitchens and libraries and things like that, education, yeah, so healthcare also, any kind of sector, also residential. Okay, they also apply to multifamily buildings. The time that it takes, it depends how good design was the building from the beginning. If you don't have to make a lot of changes, it's gonna be quicker, but you can count between a year and 2 years minimum. Okay, and yeah, those are the main things about the certification. Okay, I don't know if we can play the video. If not, I will continue to talk about the concepts. Can we play the video? Okay. The audio won't come. It doesn't matter. So we keep going to the next slide. Let's just start with the first one. So air. In the air concept, what we have to try to achieve is have the best quality of air indoors as possible. They are saying that in some countries or some cities, the air indoors is more polluted than the air outdoors, which doesn't make any sense, because we are exhalating, we are taking 15,000 liters of air a day, which is a lot more than you can eat or drink on a day or on a week or on a month. So this is important that we have a very good quality of the air that we're gonna be taking, and that's a thing that we are realizing right now with the situation in all the world we are suffering. How can we help to have a better quality of the air? There are a lot of things. For example, material selection. We selected when we are building when we are building the space, or the equipment we are choosing. The equipment, the ventilation we have, ventilation protocols, different equipment, moisture policies and controls, the protocols of maintenance. So all those things are important. And if we go to the next slide, we'll see some things that we have done in Actiu. On the next. So we are auditing and monitoring with sensors live in the same every hour in live to have all the information about the air quality. That's important, because in case you see that any gas, any pollutant is gonna be farther higher than the threshold, you have to apply some change, and you have to ventilate more, you have to open doors, you have to do something, or you have to check what is going on with your, I don't know, with the air conditioning. Something is happening, because that's or maybe you have a density of people too high. What are we monitoring, and what is this certificate telling you that you have to monitor? CO2, okay, CO, ozone, formaldehyde, very important, and we'll talk about later in the materials concept that very important that formaldehyde is no higher than 27 parts per billion, and that's important. And the equipment, as the furniture, could be a source of it. For example, in Active, we changed that, and all the melamine, all the wood components of that furniture is zero emitting formaldehyde. That's important, okay? Temperature and moisture, also important to monitorize that, and we have a special concept for the temperature. And I think and volatile organic compounds and semi-organic volatile compounds. So VOCs and SVOCs, those are very important to this group of toxic gases. Those are the ones that we are monitoring and checking that they are not above the thresholds we're saying. Then we have, of course, total prohibition, forbidden any smokes from any heating equipment, anything. We have automatic ventilation depending on these thresholds of these air pollutants I was saying. We have also separation of sensitive spaces. For sensitive spaces, we understand kitchen and bathrooms. This has to be separated with a space in between or with a self-closing door. And then filters for purifying the air. There are different systems. I'm not going to be getting into it, but there are different ones. And there is two more concepts, two more pollutants that are important to monitorize in the air. That those are particle matter 2.5 and particle matter 10. So PM 2.5 and PM 10. These are solids that are like flowing in the blowing in the wind. They are in the air, and yeah, they are very pollutant. And in these cities, like for example Madrid or Beijing or Milan, where you see this kind of fog, part of this fog is also these particle matters, and those are very contaminant. Those are very pollutant for the human being. So on the next slide, we have the water concept. Is pretty similar to the air concept. Water concept is talking about the quality of the water for drinking, any water that is going to have some contact with the person, with the people. We have to, and there is that part of the water quality, but there is the other part. The other part is how are we promoting these hydration habits? Okay, there are different things: performance testing, treatment, and the hydration promotion, as we will see on the next slide. I can show you what we have been doing about it. The same with the air. So we have analyzed the water quality, and we analyze it regularly on a regular basis. So organic compounds, unorganic compounds. Then we have things like sodium, aluminium, chloramine, different things. Turbidity too. So that's important that they are. In case there is E. coli, we have to change to check that the water doesn't have any E. coli. Also in the water dispensers, any water dispensers to drink, filters to purify the water. Okay, so that's important. We have reversive osmosis. I don't know the correct name in English, but I think it's something like that. It's important because that gives a good quality, and not only quality but taste. And the point is that if the taste of the water is good, the people is gonna be happier when they're gonna be going to drink. And if we promote it, it's gonna be also important. For example, how can you promote the water, the hydration habits? Having water dispensers no farther than 30 meters away of any workplace, any regular workplace. Okay, that's important. So we have 3 floors there in the building, and we have to put different water dispensers very close to the workplaces. With messages also very important. For example, we have a message in every water dispenser and around the office talking about the importance of water and drinking continuously. For example, let's drink a glass of water, or be water, my friend, something funny also. And yeah, so if we go, I think about the water, those are the main things. Then we can go to the next concept on the next slide, which is gonna be talking about nourishment. If we see the next slide, nourishment is how the company can promote a healthy habit of eating healthy food. Okay, that's important because the availability of fresh and wholesome foods, limiting the unhealthy foods and unhealthy ingredients, artificial ingredients, those are very important things that can cause sickness and illness in the people that they are having and spending a lot of time in the space, and they are eating whatever there is there. So from the point of view of the organization and from the space, we can change a lot of things. Also, we can change this kind of illness. For example, overweight and obesity. We can change that. Having healthy portions for the food, promoting mindful eating, Okay, having a in case it's possible, that's probably not so possible always, but promoting food production in the company or very close to it, transparency of the ingredients and allergens, access to healthy food, as we will see things that we are doing in Actiu on the next slide. If we see the different things, we're gonna be seeing that we are offering daily fruit for free, okay? So that's important, fruit and sometimes also vegetables, because they're saying that 55% of any food offered in the space has to be healthy, has to be fresh. So that's gonna be fruit or vegetable. That's important. And we did that before trying to achieve this certificate. That many things of what the certificate is telling us, we already did that. So that's because I was telling you at the beginning that this wellness point of designing or point of space is very into our DNA. So that's important to mention too. Nutritional information offered of the food, changing the unhealthy food. And here we have the funny story that we did a lot of changes in the vending machine. We don't have any canteen and we don't have any cafeteria, we don't have catering service, but we have a vending machine where you can put your coins and get some coffee, or put your coins and get some food. First of all, we didn't have any healthy food there. So when I was going to talk to the supplier, I was trying to tell him anything that we should change and the food we should have, that there's not gonna be fresh because it's gonna be into a machine, but it has to be healthy, not with sugar, not with trans fat, not with these kind of things. But the problem was that they didn't have any offer. They didn't have an offering of healthy food. At the end, I could find somebody who could help me with it. We found some healthy snacks, like, I don't know, things like healthy without any kind of artificial ingredients, with real ingredients, these kind of things that are more healthier. And the other thing is that, of course, it's always hard to change this, and people is very used to drink cola, drink sodas with a lot of sugar, eating chocolate, which is not very healthy. Sometimes it has a lot of sugar, not a lot of cocoa. And the thing that happens that there is always a black market then in the office, but it doesn't matter because at the end they are happy with it. They want to eat healthier also. Very important also, how are we promoting that with messages of healthy eating? For example, as you see there on the image, vegetables and fruit every day, eating healthy, eating wholesome foods. We have library about nutrition, nourishment, and cooking. And the space is very important, the space itself. We have to have a space minimum for the 20% of the users at once. That means if we are 100, we have to have 25 minimum, 25 chairs, table for the table spaces for the 25. We have forks, knives, so everything for this minimum 25% of the users. Then we can go to the next concept. That's gonna be the light. Light concept, very important also. We have to try to minimize the disruption between the circadian body system, the circadian clock. That's this circadian ring is what the body is used to work very close or very together with the natural daylight. So in the morning we're gonna be very active because the sun is going up, and we kind of like wake up and we should be very active during the morning. Then at midday, depends on the country and the region you are, but you kind of stay like semi-active, okay, because the sun is so let's say the sun is higher and it's gonna be we're not gonna be so active. And then in the afternoon, evening, kind of like we have to be more relaxed as the sun is going down. Okay, so that's important that we promote into any building the natural light, because the natural light is gonna be connected with the circadian rhythm, and that's important that they are going together. If we go to the next slide, we'll see things that we have done in Actiu. For example, having more than 70% of workstations no farther than 7.5 meters of a window of a source of a natural light. Okay, that's important. That's important to remark that. Because everybody's going to be working happier with natural light. Although it's important to promote also and have a very good artificial light, which they're going to be, which these people that comes to the building are going to be checking also luxes, EML, candles, so they're going to be checking that. Luxes should be recommended between 300 and 500 luxes for any workplace. Promoting that from the point of view of messages is important also, okay? Having automatic blinds to control the glare. We have these kind of things that they control the glare from the outside, from the sun. Important to promote views to the outside. How we promote views to the outside? So having big windows, having a lot of glass, and it's even better if the outside is gonna be like green spaces and rural, okay? And then, of course, not having differences between different surfaces. So it doesn't make any sense that we have a surface which is black, and then our table surface is gonna be white, or very bright white, because that's gonna be a big change for us, and we're not gonna be very comfortable with it. Then on the next slide, which is movement concept, talking about three main topics. The first one will be ergonomics. How ergonomic is your space? Talking about the workplace, talking about the in case, I don't know, how if you are in a learning environment in a university or school, also how ergonomic is your place. Then the second topic will be movement and active itself, movement itself in the building, how the building is promoting the movement. For example, if you can use the stairs before using the elevator, and if you have to move around the building to be talking with different mates and to different people, and also having to go to the water dispenser to drink something, you have to move around. You cannot be the whole time like living or working in like 5 or 10 square meters. You have to move more around. So the building has to be wide, and you have to have a space to move. And the third topic will be sports itself, exercise. And that comes more from the organization, from the company, how the company is promoting this exercise. For example, as you see here in the picture, that there is the option to have spaces dedicated to the exercise. For example, a gym, for example, for yoga lessons, to do some other kind of exercise like biking, or I don't know, muscle strengthening, I don't know, different things. If you see to the next slide, you'll see things that we have done in Actiu. For ergonomics, important to have adjustable screens, adjustable monitors. The thing that more than 25% of the regular workers, of the regular users of the building, has to have the option of working stand, and you can do that with high adjustable tables, which are very common more and more. In the north of Europe, for example, are more than 80 or 85% of the workers in an office are working with high adjustable tables. That's important. You burn between 150, 160 kilocalories at an hour if you are working stand, and you only burn 50 kilocalories if you are working sitting. So it's important to promote that movement, that movement. Also, but you can get that, as I was saying, with high adjustable tables. But also, if you don't have high adjustable tables, you can use high surfaces. For example, a closet or a high table which is fixed, but you can go there and have a social or have a informal meeting there, or maybe go with your laptop and working there like an hour or so. Also very important, the chair, because we have to try to work a stand sometime, but we are going to be, of course, sitting, and we have to have an ergonomic chairs, which fit very good with your movement and and are very flexible. And then in the topic of movement of the building, as I was saying, promoting the movement with attractive hallways, which have light, which have music, a lot of natural light, probably plants or gardens too. So they are attractive to walk through, and that's important. And then promoting the exercise. Organizations can do a lot to promote exercise and to promote the sports. You don't need to have a gym in your office or in your headquarters, which we have, but you don't need to have it because maybe you don't have the space enough to have it. But it's important to promote like people creating a football league, or people getting to a gym nearby the office, so you can give some money for them that they can go there. Important that you promote the cycling, so to come to the office or to the building with the bike. So you have to have showers, locker rooms, bicycle parking. That's important. Okay. Then we have the other concept, which is thermal comfort, on the next slide. This one is pretty easy. It's having the temperature between a range. It comes to, I'm talking about Celsius degrees, 1920 to 25, 26, which is pretty wide. We should be between 21, 22 in winter, and probably 23, 24 in summer. So we are efficient, and we have very comfortable with the temperature indoors, okay? But this, on the next slide, we'll see things about the thermal comfort. This concept on the next, and the acoustic concepts are the ones very problematic and that causing, let's say, making a lot of conflicts into the office, more and more when the office is an open office, because it's difficult to control the temperature, and temperature is going to be a subjective concept. Because for me, it could be that I'm very cold right now because I'm quiet and I'm here sitting the whole time, but the people next to my table, my mate, is having a lot of activity and having a lot of meetings, moving a lot. And for her and for him, it's going to be not so cold, and it's going to be too warm. And we are just 2 meters away. So that's difficult to control. But we have to be in between this range. We have to control also the humidity range between 30 and 60%. And we have to try to give control to the users. So it's good that facility managers control it, but it has to be a lot of communication between the users and the facility manager in case they want to yeah, they want to change it. If we go to the next one, then we have sound concept, similar to thermal comfort. So having a good acoustics into the office. We see this next slide. We'll see things. For example, they're measuring the noise has to be between 30 and 46 decibels. On the next slide is this explain it. Next slide. They measure the noise. You have to be very balanced. They measure the reverb and the NRC. It has to be correct also. Things that we can do to have a good quality of the acoustics into the office, the fabrics we use, the materials, having dividers, having sound absorbing panels, as you see there in the office, those are made by Active too. You can use them to create different spaces. And then with these different spaces, you have to draw a planning of the space, of the whole space, and you have to indicate which one is going to be loud space, which one is going to be mixed space, and which one is going to be a quiet space. Because when the users has this information, he can choose better, depending on the task they have to do, to go to a different space. If I'm going to be working with my mate in a meeting, I'm probably gonna go to a loud space, but if I have to concentrate on a presentation, on a paper, I can go to a quiet space, and there I'm not gonna be annoyed, and I'm gonna be more satisfied, and also more productive. At the end, I'm gonna be more happy. So it's important with acoustics. It's important to play that and to create different environments inside the space, indoors. Then we have the materials concept on the next slide, and this one is important, is how we choose the materials for the building when we are into the design phase, and when we are like when we are constructing it. But once the building is built, we can do also changes with equipment. For example, like furniture, we can do changes with a roof or walls. We can do changes with cleaning equipment and cleaning products we use to clean the space. So because these are very, very important, we have to try to reduce the human exposure to these pollutants materials and pollutant products. If we check on the next slide, we'll see, for example, for our case, for example, in Active, the building, of course, was already constructed. But things you can do to improve in the point of view of materials, the recycling, very important. You have to recycle different types of materials. So it's different organics, glass, papers, and batteries, very, very important to have them controlled. Cleaning products has to be neutral, fragrance-free. If they are ecological or not, I mean organic or not, that's not very important, but it could be also. And then in the furniture, for example, as I was saying before, formaldehyde, very important, because any wood component is going to be emitting when they are new. And you can choose furniture with this zero formaldehyde as Active or others. And it's important because formaldehyde can produce cancer in a long-term exposure. So that's something very important to have into consideration. Then, as I would say, is volatile organic compounds and semi-volatile organic compounds are also important, which could be also emitted by furniture or other equipment, like air conditioning or something like that. It's important that we have that into consideration, and we try to purchase equipment that they don't emit. Then on the next slide, we have the mind concept. Mind concept is more subjective, but is talking a lot about the space. And what the thing that I like the most is this biophilic design concept. What is biophilic design? Biophilic design is the way we design the space that is connecting us with the nature. Because when we are talking about constructed spaces, at the end, they're gonna be artificial because they are not natural itself. But we have to construct it, to design it, thinking about not having this loss of us as human beings to the nature where we come from. So if we see on the next slide, when we're thinking about biophilic design, we're thinking about, for example, a lot of natural finishes like wood, like rocks, like the chromatic colors, also very important. A lot of greens, not very differences in the colors. Important, for example, if you can put some water features like a fountain or like a little lake, indoors or outdoors. Also having views to the exterior, as I say, views to a green area, important. Having more organic forms, not only so geometrical forms that they don't exist in the nature, but having more organic forms. The sound is also very important, and of course having interior gardens when it's possible, plants, green corners, everything that remains us to the nature. Also in the mind concept, wellness library, as you see there in the picture, you have different books talking about mental health, talking about nutrition, talking about sports, talking about management and feeling happy, feeling good for the users of the building. Okay, that's like a kind of like a library. Having training programs, having outdoor spaces for relaxation in case of possible. For example, we have them, so you can go there and relax and restore. Yeah, that's pretty much in the main concept. Then we have the last concept, which is going to be community on the next slide. And community is more focusing on how the organization is having and is implementing policies to promote the healthcare within the employees, but also outdoors, outside, out of the company, with the community, with the people and the society around. Important here to have healthcare for the health care system, or system for the users, for the employees. Also very important, in the next slide we can see it, how the people is feeling integrated into the space. So they have to, all these things that I've been telling you, they have to be known by the users, because if we do that but we don't communicate it, it doesn't make any sense, because a lot of things they're not gonna be understanding, and they're not gonna be knowing a lot of things. So we have to explain that. For that, important is that one of our successes in Actiu, in order to implement this certificate, was that the people from the executive committee, the direction and the owners of the company are very into it. They were very motivated with this, and we create like a coordination, or let's say like a committee of different people from different teams, from human resources, of course, HR, design, interior designer. We had people from communication, we have people from marketing, okay? And those together, we gather like 3 to 4 weeks. So every 3 to 4 weeks, we check all the things we've done. We communicate them. We have like so an email address when everybody can send any requirement they have about the wellness in the space, about the comfort, and we check them and we try to resolve them. But there is somebody also in this committee from the executive committee. So it is important that the presidency, the direction of the company is very involved into it. And that's one of the successes to try to change this thing into a company. In this concept is also important in case the company or the building has any other award. For example, here we had the lead. It counts, so it's gonna be giving you more points. Okay, so if we go to the next slide, important here to come from marketing point of view. For us here, you saw very strong messages we could send to the world, to the outside. So it's the first project WELL Platinum in Spain, second in Europe, and fifth in the world. We were achieving 88 points on 100 points, so pretty high score, and we achieved platinum. Platinum in the version 2 of WELL was the first in Spain and the second in Europe, so it's very high, it's very strong message, and the fifth in the world. So this is like one of the healthiest buildings in the world, we could say. Okay, that's a very strong message too. Was the first headquarters with factories to receive WELL building standard. Was the first project to be WELL and LEED Platinum in the world, because we recertified in 2017 LEED, and we were gold, and we achieved LEED Platinum, so we get better with LEED. And yeah, in Spain there are only 6 WELL certified buildings. Okay, so we go to the next slide. And I'm gonna be very quick now. Cool working. Remember, cool working was a methodology we had, and this methodology has 5 different working styles which have evolved since then. Is focus, collaboration, socialization, learning, and concentration, and privacy or confidentiality. Those are very different working styles that we have into an office or into a space where we can go and learn or anything we want, and we have to take them into consideration when we are designing. What happens now that we have to evolve because of the situation we have with the pandemics? Okay, wellness, the cool part, but the working part, the productivity is also important. But now we have to focus also in another pillar, which is security. And security understood from a point of view of physical, mental, and emotional wellness. Okay, we have to give trust to the employees that are returning to the office. If we go, we're gonna be pretty quick right now. On the next slide, you can check everything. I mean, of course, you know the worldwide impact of the pandemics is hitting pretty a lot. Some part of Asia, in Spain, for example, Italy, some part of Europe, and in some part of Latin America, and of course in United States. What happens on the next slide? We see empty offices, we see workplace centers and co-working that are shut down, 78% of increase of home office, so people is still working. Yeah, you see that we didn't want to be stopping, okay? We didn't want to be just watching what was happening. We all want to be part of the solution. So we took our trucks, we sent the equipment in different hospitals and in different campaign hospitals they were doing in Madrid and in other cities. We send a lot of equipment for free. We want to be part of the solution. And on the next slide, the solution is having action in the same very moment, but is also thinking about the future. How are the future gonna look like, and how are these new spaces are gonna be looking like? Hospitals, retail like pharmacies, restaurants, bakeries, administrations, corporative. These spaces are gonna be different right now because we're gonna have things from a different point of view when we design it. And if we go to the next slide, we don't have to forget on the next slide that a space. And if we think a space as a wellness promoter, we have to work on the emotional part, on the mental part, but also on the physical part. And it's important to say that these three, from working on the space that we are specialists of it, they create a greater community, okay? Because anything that you apply here from the employees or the users can be applying it out of the office or out of the space they're working, or out of the space they're learning, or out of the space they're living. So in the society, okay? On the next slide, what we did, we thought about this and we were thinking about the needs of the spaces right now. And there are main three needs, okay? Main three things that we have to take into consideration. Personal distance, okay? We have to keep this 1.5, 2 meters away between people. So that changed completely the spaces as we were thinking of them before. Density reduction. We don't have to have so many people right now in the spaces, corporative or not corporative, public or not public. We have to change about that. And extreme sanitization. So that's hygiene is gonna be very important, and we have to all come with masks, gloves. We have to have soup, hydroalcoholic liquids to wash our hands continuously. Those are things that are gonna be impacting on how the people interact, and the space is a very, very good thing, very good promoter of it. Okay, so we create like guidelines with these three premises, with these three needs, main needs of any organization, any space needs to think about. And we create these guidelines. If we put the next slide, with some kind of solutions. On the next slide, you can see some kind of solutions we apply. We were thinking always of the different interactions and the different movements of the people, how they're gonna be not so much together. So we can split them. We can design in a different way. We can put. We have to put protective panels and protective screens too. And right now, if you can put on the next slide, on the next 10 slides, we can see different environments. If you put that one and the next one, of course. So you see how these protective panels, you can put the next one too. It's gonna be very aseptic, very clean. We have here different protocols, different recommendations or proposals. Put the next one too. For operative workstations, you can put the next one. For socialization, also different proposals. You see, you like more hospitality place. For informal meetings. On the next one, you can see also more soft seating and very, very separated everything. In the next one, you'll see also about the learning environment, how it's going to be changing, and different proposals. Also, no losing the point of view of the wellness. Okay, on the next one, you can see also proposals of equipments. For example, very flexible and very polyvalent and versatile furniture which you can move. On the next one, also very functional chairs and very functional equipment. Meeting rooms, of course, they're gonna be changing. On the next one, you see the next proposals we can do in case you are working in a project or in an office. You have to be more flexible and you have to keep the space between. Don't forget about the digital tools. On the next one, you're gonna be seeing equipment that is gonna be making easier to connect with another people with this video conference that we are using the whole time right now, because we should then be holding meetings in person. Collaboration options. Then we have cabins, because we have to keep also on the next slide. Privacy is going to be also very important, as you see in the next slide. Option 2. You can put the next slides if you want, just 2-3 seconds. We see difference here. It's important to see the plants and the green finishes. And then you're gonna be very flexible furniture too, that you can organize by yourself. And here at the end, and on the next slide, you're gonna see watching the different environments. For example, that's gonna be retail. The next is gonna be more like restaurant or hospitality. Another one of retail with protective panels is also important. Hospitals also on the next one. So as on the next slide, as Darwin said, we have to adapt to survive. We have not be the stronger or the faster, the quicker, or the smarter. We have to adapt, and we adapt to the needs, in this case of the customer, in this case right now of the situation we are suffering right now. If we adapt to that, we're gonna be the best, and we're gonna be moving forward. As a society and community, it's important that we send this message of well-being from our profession and from our sector of design and space design. Just to be finishing up, on the next slide, you're gonna be watching, which is in Spanish, but a research we did during the pandemic, during April and May, about the home office, how this home office is increasing, and how the people is feeling kind of like they're missing something. They're missing the personal touch, the personal contact with the mates, with the workmates, but they are having more flexible timetables. They're having more work-life balance. So that's important also to take into consideration, because there are some advantages and disadvantages. On the next slide, you can see them of the work of the home office or working from home. Okay. And these pros and cons, we have to think about them, and they are going to be there. So this is not going to be disappearing, because for example, in Spain, the home office was only 4% of use of employees have done it, but right now it's going to be increasing probably to 15 to 20%, and it's going to be changing. Some companies will do it more and other less, but that's going to come, and it's going to be staying. And at the end, I want to talk just about the evolution of it. The next slide, the future of the spaces. As you say, and as we saw before, the digitalization of it is going to be increasing. We need to, the facility of the building has to have the control of the space. We have to have more flexible spaces. We have to give security and control to the users, and they want to be, they want to feel trust. They want to feel safe in the space. More and more on the situation we are. We are working in the next generation of furniture, which is gonna be connected to the building. It's gonna be like this vision of the smart office, where the furniture is gonna be sensorized. We're gonna be monitoring sound, thermal, comfort, qualities, let's say, distance between employees, occupancy also, so you can choose your workplace once you are in the office, and you can be in the best workplace that fits you. So that's gonna be something that is gonna come in the next months. We are working in this innovative project, and yeah, I think that was all from my side. I know there are many things still that we should talk about. I don't have more time, sorry. But I hope you have some questions and we can talk about them, and you can ask them and I can respond them together with Fauzy or everybody else. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Pablo, for that very interesting talk. It was especially interesting to hear your experience in applying these the definitions and realizing the wellness aspects to your projects at Actiu. I mean, I'm sure there was a long list of requirements that you've done. And okay, so the audience has been enthusiastic listening to your talk and have you. I have a list here, and I think we should start. Should we start with the first one? It is from Muti Ahadiat. She's asking about. I feel that I hear the term circadian rhythm system a lot lately. Has there been an increasing awareness of this? Okay. Okay, would you like to?
Sorry, Fauzy, I was mute.
Oh,
Say
yeah,
again
yeah.
the last part. Sorry, say again the last part.
Okay, no problem. I feel that I hear the term circadian system.
Sorry, I lost you.
Wait.
I put off. I set up my video because I don't know if the internet is not going very good. So you were talking. There was a question about the circadian system.
Yes. Yeah.
What was the question about?
Has there been an increasing awareness on this in relation to what you're doing at Actiu?
I tried to put the video. Let's say.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, is everything which is related to wellness is increasing, and this circadian. I'm not a specialist of it. I know the definition of circadian rhythm, which is that we are very. If you know this savanna effect, I mean, if you close your eyes and if you try to think about a space where you're gonna be like very relaxed, probably you're gonna be thinking about a space like a valley or something very open into the nature and very green. So that's like the savanna. Our nature, our like hypothalamus, our older brain is very connected to the nature. I'm gonna set up my video. It's connected to the. You hear?
Yeah.
Sorry, did you hear me?
Clear. Yeah.
It's connected to the nature, our old brain, and that's part of the circadian rhythm, because one of the parts is that our body clocks is working connected to the natural light, to the daylight. So we're gonna be, as I say, active in the morning and not so active, more relaxing in the afternoon. We have to design thinking about this. So for example, and there is a very good example right now, and we can see here differences, cultural differences. In Spain, a lot of people is living in flats, in apartments, not very big, very, very small. I think in Asia is probably the same. During the during the pandemics, where we have to be closed at home and we couldn't go to the streets and so, a lot of people realized that they weren't feeling very good because they didn't have a lot of light. A lot of light in the homes are artificial light, not very good result. And you don't have a lot of big windows and views to the exterior because you have just probably 2 windows and the building in the front of you, and you're watching to the neighbor, but you don't have any views and you don't have any sun coming into your home. And a lot of people wasn't feeling very good because of that. So that's the circadian ring right now, right there. You have to have a good connection to the natural light. And it's not very good that you, for example, break your sleeping cycles. Because if you stay a lot of time until late, until midnight or so, and you wake up early or you wake up very late, you're gonna be it's not gonna be very healthy for you. And at the end, probably not physical, but you can be developing kind of like some mental illness in the future.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Pablo. That was very interesting. Should we go on to the second question, which is, in the case of an interior of a space, which the windows cannot be open, such as in offices, buildings, or malls, can you share your experience in designing the air circulation that it would be better or safer, especially during these times?
Yeah. The thing is, we have to try to combine the facility manager or the owner to have a good ventilation through the windows, because that's the more natural system to ventilate. Of course, you can have mechanical systems through the air conditioning, but the more natural way to ventilate is through the windows. And those should be, in cases possible, automatically closing and opening, depending on the CO2, on the different air quality of the indoors.
Okay.
But let me tell you an example.
Okay.
In Iran, I was in a trip like 3 summers ago. I was in a trip through the whole country, and there was this small city of Yazd in the center of Iran, in the middle of the desert. Okay, that was in summer. That was middle of August. In summer, it was pretty heat there. They didn't speak any English, but we were like, there wasn't a lot of tourists there. So we were traveling around. We were there in a city in Yazd. We wanted to visit a house, because they were very old houses and they were pretty from the outside, but I wanted to see one in the inside. So we met this woman. We met this woman through the streets. I was trying to trying to communicate with them, and when they let us get into the house, and when I was getting into it, I realized it was a very old house. They didn't have any air conditioning system, nor a ventilator. But the house was so very good designed, and I felt that the temperature was so good. Was middle of the summer, was midday, and was so warm. It was probably like 35, 40 Celsius degrees, which is a lot of hot. But the house was pretty fresh, was pretty cool. So I was trying to ask them how they made it, because it was difficult to understand. At the end, they could explain me that they were on the skyline of the city. There were like big towers, ancient towers, 2,000 years old, and they were like a ventilation system. Okay, ventilation system, natural system, that the hot air comes through the main entrance and goes up through these towers, so you can make this ventilation circle, and the air was always fresh. And they didn't even use any technology or any digital system, any other thing. So we have to try to do it manually, if possible.
Okay.
So that's the best possible way to design it. And if the building is well designed, well constructed, it's gonna be easier.
Okay, yeah, that's very interesting because different countries have different climates, and we have to adapt the design based on those conditions. Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question is from Bismo Jelantik Joyodi Harjo. He is asking about, could you please give some insights and opinions on wellness for the human mind in relations to the sound of instruments from traditional instruments like bamboo angklung to modern and beyond and newer sounds like digital music, virtual ambience, etc.
Yeah, that's important too. I didn't go very deep because we didn't do a lot of changes in Actiu in our project from the point of view of the sound. We tried something like white masking is important in very loud spaces. You have to try to use good materials, like when they are more natural, like phonoabsorbents, fabrics, or wood, they're gonna be as isolating and avoiding better the noise. But you can use also like a white mask. White mask is this white noise that you can put into the office, but also you can put in hallways, passages, main entrances that they are not regular workspace or regular living space. Only they are like a passing space. I mean, you just go through to go to another space. You can use natural sounds, like nature sounds of water, of birds, of these kind of things, and they're gonna be also promoting a better state of mind. So it's gonna be more attractive. Go through them. Also, you can do that with a water feature.
Okay.
Water feature. If you have water feature in the entrance, for example, with a fountain, it's gonna be also making a noise that's gonna be very comfortable to the visitor.
Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, thank you for that answer. And we have a third question. It's from Moreta Abigail Santoso. She's asking about considering how ignorant the public can be when facing a pandemic. What would be the biggest change when designing a safe environment to work or study, but will not interfere with daily activities?
Yeah, I mean I think that was, from our point of view, was, as I said there in the presentation, very clear. For us, we're gonna have to put into consideration these three premises, these three needs. So reduction of density, okay, personal distance, 2 meters, and extreme cleaning, extreme washing of everything, hands, so everything. High contact surfaces, also very important. For example, you have to try to avoid the high touching, high contact surfaces. If you have in the bathroom, there is a good example. In the bathroom, you have the soap or the hydroalcoholic liquid to wash your hands. We could try to put automatic dispensers when you just like put very close your hand. You don't need to touch it, but there is a sensor that it feels that is something, and then it gives you a little soap of the cartridge. So that's important to these kind of things. At the end, also very using a lot of protective panels. Okay, protective panels that are very transparent, because we don't want to cut this communication between the people. We don't want to cut this visual contact within the people, but we want to protect them. So in order to balance this, they have to be transparent, like glass or metacrillite, and yeah, keeping the distance. So being, for example, if in a bench of, I don't know, 240 were 4 people, now probably you have to put only 2 people.
Okay. Okay. Okay, thank you. I think we have time for one more question. Okay, this is from William Kurniawan. The role of design is not only to create beautiful workspace, but also to create a sense of wellness that we believe will increase productivity and sense of belonging for a workforce, but to also boost up creativity. In this sense, how do you see and value this pandemic situation as an opportunity to make change, to accelerate the shift towards a better creativity environment?
It was very important for us that we achieve this well-being standard at the end of 2019, because that set up our organization in a position of authority in terms of wellness and health from the point of view of the space, of space design. And that came at the end when we start with this pandemic situation, that because the webinars and conferences were all digital, and everybody wants to talk about that, what's going to happen with the spaces, what's going to happen with the health, how we're going to be managing this. A lot of people was like contacting us to talk about this. Well, it was an advantage for us that we had like the healthier building in Spain and in Europe, because a lot of things we already had resolved. Okay, so for example, the air quality is very important to have a lot of ventilation, a good ventilation, not using interior air to recirculate, but using outdoors air to put some more fresh air. Having a good quality is gonna be also helping to avoid the reproduction of new viruses, of new bacteria and new things that are gonna be pathogens to the human being. We already did that. Okay? Cleaning protocols. We have a specific cleaning protocols for high touch surfaces. More things. For example, the faucet, the sink in the bathroom, when you are washing your hands, you can touch if it's not high enough the waterfall. So we put a specific distance between the waterfall and the sink in order that you don't touch your hands, because in that space there is a lot of moisture and could be that there are pathogens or bacteria that can develop there. So at the end, I think we were like more advanced in this part. We were very sensitive with this situation. And it's important to design even more now from the point of view of the well-being.
Okay. Okay, Pablo. Thank you very much for your answer. Okay, I think that's all the time we have for the questions and answers session, as it's nearing 5. So let's give a big thank you and applause to Pablo and Actiu. Perhaps you would like to say a few words to close your session?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Again, thank you to you and to Aprina, Chas, and the rest of the mates of the team for organizing this session and having Actiu as a guest to give this keynote and design up close. Just to mention, because in some weeks ago we have the mentoring session. There were amazing ideas that came up. You remember with this session with the guys, with the designers and all the students that were working there and presenting the ideas were fantastic. I remember some products that were already thinking about biophilic design, ergonomics, functionality, functions, etc., etc. That was a great job. I think it's good that the students and the future professionals in the sectors are thinking about this and put this into on the table, because sometimes some larger firms, they're not thinking a lot of it and they're thinking more about the numbers. That's important to put on the table. The evolution of this, I think we're gonna be more digital, because this digital transformation was already on the road, was already going on before the pandemics, but the pandemics what did was accelerated, because we use more digital tools right now. We have to be more connected, but less in touch. So something we have to do, in some way we have to do that. We have to be controlling more the environment, and we have to be more sustainable, and that means taking care of the people and also taking care of the nature, and we have to control that. And with technology and with good design, we have a lot of opportunities to be better as a society and as a group of humans that live in an earth. That is this one. And talking more concrete about the well-building standard, is going to be evolving with the new health rating, well health safety rating, which is called, which they are launching on Monday, on the 29th. That's gonna be, they're gonna be taking some of the credits of the certificate. So any company which wants to do it on any organization, and they want to feel safe from when we're talking about the pandemic and the COVID, you can apply these credits, which they're gonna be like 10 or so, not many, not 100 or 120 like the certificate has. You can apply that, and you can like assure that you have living and working in a safer environment. So they're gonna be evolving that in that way. Even that the certificate still keeps going on. Okay, that's gonna be like a mini rating system to check how healthy, from the point of view of COVID, is your space.
Okay.
In Actiu, we're gonna be working on wellness as a center in the design for our products, for our services, and for our solutions. Because I think for our customers and for our partners, that's a very value proposition for them, because we put that in the centers, and not all the organizations and not all the industries do that. And yeah, that's all. For me, it was a pleasure to be attending to here, be participating, and I hope we do more in the future, of course.
Okay, it was our pleasure, Pablo. Thank you. Okay, so now we will soon end the session, but before that, I would like to convey a big thank you again for Museum Macan, BWI, and ITB for hosting the events, and also a big thank you to our partners, ADPII, HDII, and BCCF, and also a thank you to Cisco for supporting this WebEx event. I would also like to remind the audience that the next Design Up Close session will be a keynote presentation about design and contemporary lifestyle with Christian Tomadini from La Cividina, which will be at the end of July. Also, another mentoring and open review session about material and chain of sustainability will be also open for participants in July. These details will be announced. And on Monday, 29th June, Museum Macan and BWI will take part in the World Industrial Design Day with sesi curhat makan siang bersama Domicilium Studio dan Eugenio Hendro. Everyone is welcome to join and watch via the YouTube Live. It will start at 12:30 p.m. up until 2. So the link and detailed information is available on Museum Macan's social media. Okay, so back to you, Widi. Thank you.
Thank you, Mas Fauzy. Thank you, Pablo. Thank you, everyone, for staying with us. I'd like to thank again for Pak Rikrik, who's here with us until the end. Thank you for co-hosting for ITB for co-hosting this. Thank you, ADPII and HDII, and also BCCF. Thank you also for Cisco for powering this event. So maybe before we end this session, we have a small group photo for the speaker, moderator, and panelists, other panelists. Charles, please, yes. Mbak Nana, please turn on your video. Okay, now we'll have a small group photo. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you. So thank you everyone for staying. Shall close this session today. Please look forward to other BWR and Museum Macan Design Up Close programs. Thank you and good afternoon. Oh, it's evening now. Sorry. Thank you and good evening.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Untuk teman-teman dari ADPII, HDI, dan BCCF, ini kita udah masuk